So welcome everybody, I'm Geraldine, I'm the co-founder of GoMasterCoach and I'm with Fong today. And today we're going to discuss on how to find your Ikigai. The reason why we have decided to offer this free webinar is as part of the International Women's Day campaign. We have committed to help women in career transition. And we have launched this campaign on the 8th of March. And we are very happy to share that we have paired 100 women with 100 mentors. So to help those women in transition, but not only those women, we have decided to offer this free webinar. Okay. So let's get started. What we're going to cover today, we're going to discuss about Ikigai, how to find your Ikigai. But first and foremost, you need to understand what Ikigai is. This is the first step. The second step will be about your strengths, how to find your strengths, which is a very important part of finding your Ikigai. The third step is about your fears, how to manage your fears. Because it's great to know your strengths, but if you're afraid to take risks and to be yourself, you will not be able to find your Ikigai. And last but not least, the fourth part will be about your confidence. How can you boost your confidence to explore and find your Ikigai? This is what we're going to cover today. But first, let me ask you a question. If I ask you today, how much of your potential do you use? So maybe you're working. So how much of your potential do you use in your work? Maybe you're not working. So how much do you use in your life? I'm going to share a poll because I want to know more about you guys. So please take 10 seconds to the poll. How much of your potential do you use today? Is it 10%? You don't use your potential at all. You're extremely frustrated, or maybe you're pretty happy in your role and you use, like, let's say 70%. What is it for you? So try to reflect on your potential. Obviously, it's difficult to say what is your potential. How can I assess that? There's no right or wrong answer. It's more about your intuition. Okay, so let's wait 10 more seconds, and please mute yourself if you are not. Yeah, I'm gonna mute you guys because there's some background noise. All right, so let's share. Oh, it's pretty interesting. Can you see the results, guys? Yes or no? Okay, great. So on average, I would say that you guys, it should be around 50–60%. If I were to do a quick average, 50–60%. But it goes from 20% up to 80%. Okay. So thank you for sharing that. The next question I have for you guys is, okay, whether you are 20% or 80%, you don't use your full potential. My question is, what gets in the way of you using 100% of your potential? So I want you guys to be actively engaged. Please take a pen and a paper and write down anything that comes to your mind. So let's say I'm at 70%. What gets in my way at the moment? Why am I not at 100%? So take your time, write down as many things as you can, right? What gets in your way? Why are you not at your 100%? What are the reasons? Try to really reflect. Okay. Thank you, Nafis, for sharing in the chat. So, overwhelm, distractions. Okay, what else? Keep on writing. Okay, so now you look at your list of reasons, right? Obstacles. I want you to identify the inner obstacle. If you look at your list of things, what is the inner obstacle? What is preventing you from using your full potential? Try to reflect. Thank you, Michelle. So fear, procrastination, social activities, not getting enough opportunities. So that's an external obstacle. How about the inner obstacle? What is it? Why are you stuck in this box, right? Now, look at your list and we're going to do what we're going to do. We're going to do a visualization exercise. So I want you to be fully present with me and just to relax. And if you're okay, you can close your eyes now. Close your eyes. We're going to do a visualization exercise. And it's one where we're going to try to see ourselves. If we can't unleash our potential, if we get stuck at 20, 30, maybe 80%, what's going to happen to us if we have this fear, this procrastination? So close your eyes, guys, and try to see yourself in 6 months' time. Try to see yourself in 6 months' time, and you're still afraid. You still have this fear of maybe failure, of maybe rejection. I want you to see your life. What does it look like in 6 months' time? If you still have all those obstacles, see yourself. Where are you guys? See what's around you. Who are we? Who's around you? What are you doing? What is your activity in 6 months' time if you still have this fear? Try to see yourself. How do you feel? You're not at your full potential. You're maybe at 20, 30, maybe 60%, and you're stuck. What have you not done? Okay, so now keep your eyes closed. I want you to see yourself in 2 years' time. In 2 years' time, you still have this internal obstacle of yours. It might be your fear of your procrastination, all those bad habits. I want you to see yourself in 2 years. What do you do? Where are you? What is your activity? What are you not doing? Try to see yourself in 2 years. What is your job? Who's around you? And you're still very afraid. How do you guys feel? Try to picture yourself. How do you behave? Okay, so now we're gonna go in 10 years. 10 years time. You still have this fear inside you. What are you doing? See yourself in 2032. Where are you? How do you feel? What have you done in 10 years? What are the things that you have not done because of this fear, those obstacles of yours? How do you feel in 10 years' time? Now I want you to take a deep breath and we are still in 2032, and think about an advice you would give your younger self, what would it be? So we are in 2032. Which advice would you give your younger self? Okay, now take a deep breath and come back. You can open your eyes, take your pen and write down your advice. What is the advice you gave yourself? Okay, so this is a visualization exercise. Why are we doing this visualization exercise? Is to create a sense of urgency, okay? To create a sense of urgency, meaning I need to act now. I want to change. I want to own my career, okay? I want to find my Ikigai. So this is an exercise that will help you see, okay, I don't want to procrastinate anymore because in 10 years' time, I will be in the same situation and I won't be happy with the results. So now I want to act. So let me share with you, I'm going to share, it was one of my first clients. Obviously, it's not the real name. So meet Jenny. So Jenny, her potential, she told me, was around 30% when we met. She had a role in a big corporate company, but she was so unfulfilled. She was in bore-out. Bore-out is when you're really, really bored and a bit depressed because you don't have anything to do. Your role, your job lacks meaning. She was afraid of failure, afraid of shifting, doing something else. And she was extremely frustrated because she feels she has so much potential, but she couldn't express and use it. And as a consequence, obviously, she was lacking confidence. So we did this exercise and she realized that she had to do something now. She couldn't stay in the same situation. So she decided to shift from being reactive to being proactive. She decided to own her career and she decided to stop waiting for opportunities to come and to create new opportunities. We're going to talk about Jenny during this webinar, and I'm going to walk you through her development. Okay, so let's move to the next step. If it works. All right. Okay, here we are. So on average, when we ask these questions to how much of your potential do you use, people will answer 40%. And most of the time, the reason why people don't use their potential is because they're afraid, right? It's because of their fears. And this is a gremlins, this is a fear. Okay? As a coach, my job is to help my clients unleash their potential, so increase the level of potential and decrease the fears to reach Ikigai, to help my clients reach their Ikigai. So this is what we're going to do today. And this is what we do at GoMasterCoach. And that's one of the reasons why we have created GoMasterCoach, is to help people develop their potential with coaching. We strongly believe coaching is a great way to help people. And we want to move this 40% to 80%. This is our mission. Okay, how do we do that? At GoMasterCoach, we do that with our training, a certification program to become a certified coach, which starts at $3,200 USD. And we also elevate coaching with technology. We have created a toolbox. And we also strongly believe that together we go further. That's the reason why we have this large and diverse community with us. Okay, so I'm Geraldine. I'm the co-founder of GoMasterCoach with Lily. I'm an executive coach, and I help startup founders and and scale-up leaders unleash their potential. Okay. All right. So let's move to the next slide. All right. So what we're going to do today is, okay, what is Ikigai? Those are the next slides. So understand Ikigai. Are you guys familiar with Ikigai? Yes or no? Let's go back to what Ikigai is to understand what you find. So Ikigai, it's a Japanese concept. And there's 4 circles: what you love, what you're good at, what you can be paid for, and what the world needs. This is Ikigai. Okay, it's a Japanese concept that means reason for being. Okay, Iki means life, and Gai describes value or worth. And there have been lots of surveys and studies that say that maybe the reason why there's so many people that live very, very long in Okinawa in Japan is probably because of Ikigai. Because people work, they don't retire, they work because for their purpose, and they have close friends, close groups of friends, and they live very, very long. The concept of Ikigai is to understand your past to fuel your present and use the present to light the way to your future. This is what we're going to do now. So this is Ikigai, the Japanese concept. Let's look at your superpower, your strengths. Let me ask you, how would you define strengths? What is the definition of strengths? And how does this relate to Ikigai? Any idea, guys? Let me tell you. One definition of strengths, and there's plenty definition, is at the intersection of your passions, your gifts, and your skills. And that's my favorite definition. Okay? Strength is here. It's at the intersection of what you love, what you're good at, and also what you have developed over time. Those are your strengths. Can you see how this relates to Ikigai? So if you want to find your Ikigai, you need first to understand what your strengths are. Okay? And thank you, Marjorie, for the definition. Yes, it's what makes you distinctive from others. Thank you, Tina, as well, what I'm naturally good at. So those are more talents. You need to invest in your talents so that it becomes strength. Okay, so this is what we're going to see, what you love, but also what you're good at and what you have developed over time. Talent and motivation, yes. And one definition from Gallup Strengths, which I also really like, is strengths equal talent times investment. It's great to be talented, but if you, let's say you sing very well, okay, it's one of your talents, but if you don't invest time and energy in this particular gift, it won't become one of your key strengths. You will be okay, but you won't be amazing at singing, right? So that's why I really love this definition of strengths. Now, you understand that there's a correlation between your strengths and your Ikigai. So let's start with the strengths. I'm going to ask you 10 questions to help you find your strengths. Maybe you're already super aware of what you're super good at, maybe not. So let's take a pen and a paper now, guys, and let's go through 10 questions. First question. Let's focus on your gifts. What comes easily to you? And that's not an easy question to answer because usually you don't even realize what comes easily to you because it comes easily to you, right? So you don't realize it's easy for you. You realize that it's easy for you when you see others struggling to do the same thing as you without effort. Think about when you were a kid. What came easily to you as a kid? Maybe it was your ability to communicate, to connect, to have so many friends. Maybe it was you were extremely good. I don't know, is in painting. What was it for you when you were a kid? So that's the first question. Second questions. Have you ever received awards or won contests or received public praise? Try to think about it. And it doesn't have to be a huge thing. Maybe it was in your town and you've just received an award for your paintings, for instance. Or maybe you were selected as a math contestant in your class. What was it for you guys? Write down as many things as you can. Next one, what do you get complimented on most? I love this question because I'm not asking you about your strength. I'm asking you what other things about your strengths. It's always easier to think this way. So what do you get complimented on most? Is it your communication? Is it your creativity? Is it people find you very sharp? What is it for you guys? Write down as many things as you can. All right. Are you ready to move to the skills? So let's move to the skills. Now, question number 4. What did you focus on in your education? It doesn't mean that you're super good at that, but maybe you decided to do management because you loved business. Was it finance because you were good in math? Was it literature because you were really great at writing? What was it for you guys? Question number 5. Okay, now what do you study about in your spare time? I've seen some of you are studying coaching. What about you guys? Is it dev, coding? What is it? What are you studying? What training have you received in the past 10 years, 15 years? Maybe it was about negotiation skills because you're sales and you're very good at that and you wanted to become even better. Try to think about all the trainings that you've done, all the certifications that you've received. Which skills could you be paid for? Maybe you're a salesperson and you can easily be paid for that. Or maybe you're creative and maybe you could be paid for that in digital marketing. Or maybe you know how to write and you can definitely be paid for that. Or maybe you're a coach. What is it you guys can be paid for? Okay, so those are the skills. Now let's move to the loves. What part of your current job do you love the most? Maybe you're not working, so think about your main activities, your hobbies. What do you love the most? Maybe you're working, so what is it? Is it connecting with new clients? Is it preparing Excel spreadsheets? Is it designing PowerPoint? What is it, guys? What do you love the most? This is a very simple question, but do you ask yourself this question? I don't ask myself this question often enough, I feel. Now, next one, number 8, very important one. If money were no object, what would you do for a career? If money were no object, you could do anything. What would you do? Would you become a painter, an athlete, maybe an interior designer? Maybe you would launch a startup. You would take more risks. What would you guys do? So write down as many things as you can. Now, it's about the flow. Which activities do you get lost in? Can you remember, maybe in the past 6 months, what makes you vibe, really vibe? I don't know if you know the concept of flow, but when are you in the flow? When you don't realize the time has gone and you were doing something. So write down as many things as you can. And last but not least, my favorite question, and be honest with yourself now. What do you like about yourself? What do you guys like about yourself? And be honest with you. That's a very simple question, but do you know how to answer it? So now I want you to reflect and look at your paper and see if there's any commonalities. You know, there's those 3 blocks. Can you see any commonalities? Or maybe not, and that's okay. Is there anything in between love and skills or love and gifts? Try to see if there's any commonalities. And let me share about Jenny. So Jenny, we did this exercise and we talked about loves, and she shared that she loves creating new ideas, new projects. She loves novelties. She loves adventure. And she also loves to empower people. Her gifts, Jenny's gifts are she has great energy, she loves to connect with people, she loves sports, she loves learning, and she's pretty good at learning. She can learn fast and she's creative. How about her skills? So she has management and consulting skills. She can see the big picture, have a strategic mindset, and she loves to coach and to empower people. Her communication skills are good, and she has project management background. So we worked with Jenny and looked at, okay, what is at the intersection of those 3 circles? We realized that she has a coaching mindset, an entrepreneurial mindset. She's pretty creative, organized, and a lot of energy. So this is Jenny. What is it for you guys? Try to see if there's some commonalities, if it converges, what converges. Now, let me give you another tip to find your strengths. It's not easy to find your strengths. Huh? My favorite exercise to find my strengths is this one, and this I will use it with all my clients. So I will ask you to think about one of your key successes, maybe in the past year, maybe in the past 5 years, whenever you want. Think about one success. We're going to reverse engineer this success. What have you achieved that you're very, very proud of? So take your pen, paper, and write it down. And it doesn't have to be something professional. It can be something personal. You've organized, I don't know, some trip for your mom 70-year-old birthday, or maybe you've just been hired by a big company, your dream job. Think about one success, one achievement. Okay, and let me share my client's one. So my client has been, so it was 10 years ago, she has been promoted as a project manager on a merger. And she was really, really excited about this job. So for her, it was a big success. Now that you have your success, I want to think about, okay, how did you manage to make it a success? Which strength did you use at that time? So try to reflect. So for my client, she managed to communicate with different stakeholders. So she could talk to the employees, the shareholders, the consultants. So that's really helped her. She was very organized, Jenny. And last, she's a self-starter. She's able to do something new without lots of structure to organize herself and to start a new project. That's the reason why she was hired as a project manager. How about you guys? Can you reverse engineer your success? Okay. This is one of my favorite exercises. It's very powerful. And we don't have time to look at more than one success. But if you do have time, please try to list 5 successes of yours and try to reverse engineer each success. What you will realize is that most of the time, it will be you succeeded thanks to the same strength. All right, just a quick tip here. This exercise to reverse engineer your success is obviously very useful when you look for a new job, new role, to prepare yourself for interviews. And you can use, so look at your achievement, look at your strengths, and when you want to communicate about your achievement, you can use a CAR technique in an interview. What is a CAR technique? So you will share about the context, actions, results, and learning. So let's say for the example I've shared earlier, let's say I'm the Jenny. So I've managed to be promoted as project manager to work on a merger. That's the context. Context is more, there was a merger and there was this role. This is a context, sorry. Action, I managed to network with many people and to communicate on my interest, my motivation to join this role. Result, I was hired for this role. Learning, I learned how networking and communication could be powerful to find a job. So just a quick example on how you need to structure your pitch when you want to convince. And that can be very useful if you guys are doing career coaching or if you're looking for a new role. All right, just a quick tip on that. Let's look at your star. Some of you know already this concept. It's a very, very powerful concept. Now, I want you to draw your own star. So draw a star on your paper. Okay? And I want you to list your top 5 strengths. What are they for you guys? Draw your own star. What are your strengths? Your top 5. Okay. So I'm going to leave you some time. Look at your top 5 strengths. And if you know your weaknesses, also feel free to list them on your strengths here. Okay? Take the time. Look at your strengths. All right. Now, let's look at this employee of mine. She used to be part of my team. And this is Clara. She's organized, diligent, analytical, great attention to details, and rigorous. And let's do a fun exercise now. If you can turn on your camera, it would be great. If you can't, that's okay. But I want you guys, take a pen and please show me your pen. Okay, hi Zolbu, good to see you. Okay, take a pen. Now I want you guys to write down 5 times superpower using your pen. Are you guys ready? It's a competition. So when I say 3, you can write superpower 5 times. And when you're done, you raise your hand again. Okay, 1, 2, 3, superpower. Please go very fast, 5 times. Superpower, superpower, superpower. Okay, write it down on your paper. And okay, write it down 5 times. Okay, when you're done, you can raise your hand. Are you done, Dan? Okay. All right, so we have some winners here. Do we? I can't see everybody, so it's a bit difficult. Okay, Marjorie is done. That's all I can see. You're lucky. And Christine too. and 4 participants. Okay, guys, thank you. So please show me your hand. All right, now move, change your, okay, you're gonna do the same thing with your other hand. Are you guys ready? Just stop, wait. Okay, are you guys ready? 1, 2, 3, same thing, superpower 5 times, go. Come on, guys. Today I won't ask for the results, but usually I do. When you're done, raise your hand, guys. Okay, Antonia, well done. I won't challenge you and I won't ask you for the results. Or you can show me, yes. Okay, great. Okay, where are we going? Guys, you can stop now. I can see you're very focused. It's okay, we have one winner. All right, so what is this about? Do you guys know what is this about? It has joy, yes, it's supposed to be readable. But that's okay. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about your strengths and your weaknesses. Okay, so this is an analogy we're using. What do we want to say today? I want to say that if you spend time with your, I'm right-handed, if I spend that time with my right hand, if I just exercise a lot and do it every day to have a perfect writing, I will be super good at that. But if I want to have a good writing with my left hand, it was going to be very, very difficult, right? It will take so much time, so much effort, and I will never have a very nice writing. Okay, so that's the same with your strengths and weaknesses. And this has been a game changer for me when I understood the concept. I used to focus on my weaknesses, you know, and instead of focusing on my strength, I used to focus on my weaknesses. I wanted to be perfect and good at everything, you know. So instead of focusing on my strengths, I say, oh yeah, I want to be better, more analytical, I want to do that better. So I spent a lot of time focusing on my weaknesses. And I ended up like this, you know, this strange star on the right, not rounded, not very nice. When I realized that instead of focusing on my weaknesses, I should focus on what I was good at, right? So, you know, I was good energy. I was a good manager. So I say, okay, maybe I could invest and do more of that. And I decided to really focus on what I was really good at to become excellent. The philosophy is really to focus on what you're good at to shine. By sharpening the points to your star, it's a path of least resistance to your genius, okay? And the time and energy you will spend on that will be much more, a much better investment, right? Let me give you a quick example. So let's go back to Clara and John. I used to work for a financial broker and I used to head the business planning department for a division of my company. I was in charge of financial control data analysis and also communication to the business line. So I hired 2 graduates, Clara and John, okay? I decided that Clara would be in charge of the commodities business line and John in charge of the fixed income business lines, okay? So they were in charge of financial reporting and communication to the business lines. And they were in charge of communicating. Those guys are the business line guys, so fixed income, commodities. I don't know if you've seen this movie, same kind of guys. After 1 month, the guy from my internal clients, the brokers, the financial brokers came and said, you know, Clara, I don't understand. She comes with all those data, all those details, and honestly, your communication is very poor. She's too shy. It's really annoying. I don't want to see her again. And when they were talking about John, they said, you know, this guy is very nice, he's fun, but honestly, we don't understand all the data everything is wrong, reports is totally inaccurate. He's a fun guy, but honestly, I don't understand his data. I don't want to see him again. So what did I do, guys? So I realized that Clara, she was very organized, diligent, analytical, great attention to details, rigorous, but her communication was not very good and she was not very assertive. And John, big picture guy, great communication, but not focused on detail at all. So I decided to ask Clara to be in charge of data analysis, reporting, and John in charge of communication. And as a team, we became a great and efficient team. So as an individual, it's better to focus on what you're really good at. As a team, it's good to have a good mix of competencies. And later on, Clara, she became so good at what she financial data reporting. She was promoted head of financial control. And she was so good that she became very confident and her communication skills improved a lot. And John, he was in charge only of communication and become very, very good, very driven. And he was so driven that he moved to another financial company in charge of sales. And he became much better with data because he was in charge of his own P&L. Okay, just a story to tell you that we should focus on our own strengths instead of focusing on our weaknesses first. It doesn't mean that we don't want to focus on our weaknesses. We need to mitigate them. But it's important to focus on our strengths first. So now the first step is to name your strengths. Second step is to use them. And third step is to invest in them. Okay, it's great to be aware of what you're good at, but you also need to use them every day and to invest in them as much as you can. Okay, so this is for the strengths part. This is Jenny. So Jenny, top 5 strengths: coaching, creativity, self-starter, energy, organization. How about you guys? Do you have your top 5 strengths? Now that you know your strengths, that's great. You know what you're super good at. You need to understand, obviously, how you can use that in a job, right? But before that, it's very important to manage your fears. Okay, let's look at that next. How can you manage your fears? What are you afraid of? This is a little gremlin. This is a little voice in your head saying, hey, you know, you're not good enough. Do you have this little voice in your head? I do. We all have this little voice in our head. Or maybe you're too old. You're too old to find a good job. You're too old to change. Okay, can you guys? Would you mind finding the?
He would be doing stuff like he would do stuff in my face, like I would stare at him for a long time, and he would just
okay.
And then he gets scared of me, and then it feels real good. I like when they get scared.
Okay, sorry guys. I think it's not the little voice in the head. Usually it's a bit more.
But not all the boys are me. Sometimes I'm friends with them.
Who are you friends with?
Kind of.
Can you find the one?
What do they talk about?
Mute. All right. Okay, now I found it. Next one. No one will hire someone with a career break. This is a little voice in your head as well. If you try, you will fail. Okay? Do you have this voice in your head telling you, no, you're not good enough, you will fail, you know, others are better than you? So our job as coaches is to help you manage this little voice, this gremlin. The good news is once you can hear this voice, this crappy best friend who says mean things about you, you can do something about it. So the first step is to acknowledge it. Oh my gosh, there's this voice that is not helping me. You know, your inner critic, your saboteur, you can call it as you like. So once you hear this little voice, what you can do is you can practice cognitive reframing. And we're going to do that together now. To strengthen your mind muscle, to change your story, to change the meaning, to change the behavior and the outcome. All right, so let's do that. I want you to write down one of your fear, your negative self-talk. Just one thing, one sentence. Maybe it's I'm not good enough. Maybe it's people will judge me. Maybe it's others are better than me. What is it for you guys? So Pooja, you say others are better than you. Okay. How would you reframe that? Now I want you to take your pen, your paper, and try to reframe it. Okay, so take 2 minutes. Try to list your negative self-talks, maybe at least one, maybe 2 or 3. And try to think, how can you reframe it? And you need to believe in this replacement, obviously. So what could it be for you? So I used to have this, oh, I'm going to fail, you know, if I do something different, I'm going to fail. I don't understand how I can succeed, right? So I managed to change that to, I will try. Maybe I will fail, but at least I will learn. And I will try again, and I will learn more. And since learning is very important for me, it really helped me take more risk. Also had this, people will judge me a lot. People will judge me. I was like, okay, people will judge me. If I'm more visible, people will judge me for sure. But you know, at least people will see me. They will like me or not, but is it better to be judged or to be seen? So you need to reframe. When I started as a coach as well, I was like, oh my gosh, all those coaches are so much better than me. And I was it was not very positive, right? And then I realized that, okay, I can reframe that. Actually, they are so inspiring. I will just look at what they're doing and try to do the same. They are very, very inspiring. Okay, so take the time to reframe. Okay, and this is your fear. And if reframing is not one-off, you need to reframe, constantly reframe. It's a mind muscle. So if you reframe on a regular basis, if you truly believe in the new narrative, then you will manage to reduce your fears. Okay? So that's how you can mitigate this saboteur in your head. Now, let's move to the last part. So we know what Ikigai is. We have identified your strengths. We know how to manage this little voice in your head that is not helping you. Now, how can you boost your confidence to reach your goal, to find your Ikigai? Okay. And you need to boost your confidence to explore what the world needs, okay? So you know what you're really good at, you know what you love, you know what you can be paid for, you know your top 5 strengths. Now you need to explore and to see what does the world need. And to explore, you need to take some risks, right? So you need to create opportunities to share what resonates with you, with people around you, to invest in your strength. Maybe you need to learn more, online, workshops, training, offline. You need to connect with as many people as you can that are in the same like-minded individuals. You need to experiment. You need to step out of your comfort zone. This is Jenny. So Jenny, how did she manage to find her Ikigai? She decided to step out of her comfort zone and to join SME first as a Chief Operating Officer. She decided to become a certified personal trainer. She decided to become a professional coach. And then she decided to launch a coaching company, GoMasterCoach. So Jenny is me, basically. I just wanted to show you. So this is how I found my Ikigai, which is coaching and running GoMasterCoach together with Lily. And as a coach, I always tell my client, you need to be your first client. You need to be your own coach and your first client. Okay? Now, let's do a last activity. Okay? We're gonna do a visualization exercise. But this time it's gonna be a positive one. Okay? So please take a deep breath and close your eyes, guys. Close your eyes. Just relax. Make sure you are fully grounded. Now, I want you to see yourself in 6 months' time. You are using all your strength. You feel super good about yourself in 6 months' time. You know exactly what your strengths are, and you are using them every day. I want you to imagine, what is your activity? How does it look like? What is your life in 6 months' time? You feel empowered. You know your strengths and you use them every day. Where are you? What do you do? Try to see yourself. Try to create a movie for yourself. And you are the hero in this movie. So what do you do in 6 months' time? You feel super confident about you. What is your job? Maybe you don't have a job, but what do you do? How do you behave differently in 6 months' time? How do you feel? Now take a deep breath, and I want you to see yourself in 2 years. You're very confident about yourself. You know exactly who you are, what are your strengths. You don't focus anymore on all your weaknesses, you focus on your strengths. You can use them in your activity on a daily basis. What do you do? What do you do in 2 years? Where are you? Can you picture yourself, your environment? Try to see yourself in 2 years. Who's around you? What impact do you have on others? How do you create value around you? Try to see yourself in 2 years. How do you feel? Now I want you to see yourself in 10 years' time. So in 10 years' time, you've still using all your strengths, you have developed your strengths, you really shine, you're very confident about who you are. What do you do? And think about all the things that you've achieved. What have you done in the past 10 years? What are you proud of? Try to see yourself, see your life without any fears, You've explored many different things. You've taken a lot of risks. What is it you're doing? So now I want you to think about an advice you would give your younger self. So take a deep breath. You can open your eyes and come back in the present and take your pen and write down what would be this advice for yourself, for your younger self. Write it down. I'm going to go back to those slides. Thank you, guys. We're reaching the end of this webinar. So I just want to recap what we have covered today. So what's important today, if you're looking for a new role, if you're searching for your Ikigai, is to create the motivation to do so. To create the motivation, to increase the motivation, you need to create a sense of urgency. I need to own my career now. I need to be proactive. So that's what we did with the visualization exercise. The second step, and the most important, I think, if you want to find your Ikigai, is really to understand your strengths. So take your time after this call just to think about your strengths every day. What are you good at? How can you become better? Use your strengths, right? Use your strengths as much as you can and invest in them. We usually say, oh, I'm pretty good at, communication, so I don't need to invest in them. Yes, you need. If you really want to be a superstar, invest in your strengths. Own your successes. It's important, and we tend to forget about all the good things, all our achievements. So try to list them and own them. Practice cognitive reframing whenever you have this little gremlin in your head coming back. So try to understand what's happening and try to shift and reframe your thoughts. Explore areas of interest. So try to step out of your comfort zone. Try to do something that you're afraid to do. Just doesn't have to be a big thing. So that's a recap of what we have done. Let me go back to two things. If you want to learn more how to own your career now, we have developed a coaching program in 6 steps. The first step is to clarify your goals. Second is about talents and strengths, values, fears, Ikigai, and defining your own project. So feel free to reach out if you're interested by this program. Obviously, I've shared lots of tips today, but it takes a bit of time to find your Ikigai. And last but not least, if you want to join our tribe, the GoMasterCoach tribe, to become a coach and to help others find their Ikigai, feel free to connect as well. Okay, so thank you very much for your engagement. Thank you for staying. And feel free to share in the chat what you like today. It's always useful to get some feedback. Thank you all. I hope it was useful for you. Okay.